Hello guys, this is the SWTOr guy here. Welcome back to another video, which is gonna be like pretty much what will happen or what was the future back in 2012. This is the video series pretty much until we run out of Guild Summit. So you guys have smashed the likes, and I decided to, you know what? Let's screw it. Boom, another face. So I'm gonna do this one a little bit differently, since this is like kind of a reaction video. I'm gonna do like an actual reaction instead of like, okay, I'm just pausing and things like that. No, I'm gonna do this one like properly and hopefully really good. So let's get into this Guild Summit, and this Guild Summit is gonna be all about the guild features, what is coming out in 2012 or in the future in 2012 and things like that. So let's jump into this.
So, hi, I'm Damien. I'm the lead system designer for it, and I just want to start off by saying that guilds are incredibly important, not just to me, but to everybody at BioWare as an organization. You know, one of the key innovations that we did in this space pre-launch was to do the guild seeding program that sort of helped to build some communities before the game went live, and then
Okay, I'm gonna pause this one a little bit. So in case if you didn't know what is this all about, back in the day, before the actual game launched, they made a system, like kind of a system, where you can pretty much decide it as soon as you entered the game, you already invited to a certain guild. So it's pretty much like back in the day, like let's just say you have SWTOr guy guild, and you made that guild before the actual game has launched. So they decided to make this system, and as soon as you enter to the game, you are invited automatically to that guild, and I think you're automatically in or something like that. But it was really, really good. And there, back in the day, there was thousands, if not like I don't know how many thousands, like 10,000 guilds in the game. So it was so amazing. But let's keep going.
of course, the first major event that we did where we talked to the fans after live was this one, where we came and asked your opinions. We think that guilds are very important to building structures and communities inside of the space, and that a lot of people log on every day, largely because the social connections they make inside the game. Guilds are really important to us, and we have a very, very structured plan, a roadmap for continuing to improve the guild experience going forward.
That was a roadmap back in the day? I didn't know that, actually. Or maybe this was behind the scenes? I don't know. Let's just move on.
That being said, one of the places that I'm very sensitive about is, and I'm more than happy for you guys to come to me and talk because you are exactly the people I need to hear it to. To me, being a guild leader is one of the hardest, most thankless jobs inside of the games. And in many respects, you guys are doing the Lord's work for us in sense of keeping other players into the game, getting invested into the game, and keeping them interested and engaged. And so please come and tell me what is annoying, difficult, frustrating about managing your peeps. And I can't say that we'll get them all, and I can't say when we'll get them, but we want to know those things so that we can make it Star Wars the single best game to run a guild in all of gaming.
So this was actually a really, really nice talk. Like, just in general, hearing this back, it was so good. Like, I think this girl right here is just crying, I think. So pretty much it was like he literally said like, okay, talk to me and say what are you annoyed and things like that, and thank you for keeping all the players in the game. So that was a huge and big improvement for this guy, and I really love this guy, by the way. And back in the day when I saw his interviews and everything, I was totally into it. He's a total honest guy. Hopefully he will still work at BioWare. I don't know, to be perfectly honest. If you guys know, let me know in the comment section.
All right, let's go ahead and start.
Yeah.
So guilds.
I'm gonna drink.
The current state of guilds is we're kind of bare bones. Most of our innovation on the guild front was really focused on the pre-guild program, which, don't get me wrong, we consider a qualified success. It was very good at what we wanted to do. But we really want to be sure that we do a good job of giving you guys the tools to run guilds better and a UI that makes it easier for everybody inside of a guild to actually, take part in a guild and to build that sense of community inside the space.
Sure.
And yeah, we really don't have enough EP and waving going on. So,
yeah, this was right.
One of the things that we have is we have a team right now that is dedicated to expanding guild functionality, and they've got sort of a roadmap of where they're going to go. We have a full team devoted to giving you guys the features you want. And the first thing that they're working on is guild banks. And I have a rule, which is I hate announcing features until I've seen them work. Guild Banks works, and they're awesome. So this is a guild bank is a shared bank for guild members to use, and it has up to 7 tabs that you can buy. Those tabs have an escalating price, so the first one's pretty cheap, and the 7th one it's going to be a little work for you to get your very large guild to pay for. We have detailed control for the guild leaders to actually determine who can access every single tab. We do have the ability for guild leaders to set some tabs to require authenticators to access those tabs.
This was so good because some of the people who are actually played don't have an authenticator. It's so hard. Authenticator to actually play the game. I think a lot of people back in the day had the authenticator, but I don't know, thanks to free-to-play preferred and everything, I don't think there was a lot of people have this security key or authenticator or whatever, but this was a really, really good idea. I saw this in my guild and everything, so it's really, really nice.
And in related news, we have already, it's probably not up here, we have already been working as part of delivery of the feature, being sure that we have good logging on the back end for CSRs to be able to identify what happened with any transactions so that, hopefully people don't get screwed. Guilds are, Legacy is probably the sexiest feature we did. Guild Banks is the hardest feature that we've done for 1.2. And the team that did it deserves a round of applause for just doing it and doing it very well.
I guess. Back in the day, round of applause.
Here you can see sort of the guild bank going on, the ability to actually set the tabs, set the icons from an icon browser. You can set how many credits each rank can take out, so you can decide that lieutenants get a larger allowance than other players. This is an example of the guild bank in action. This here is the guild ledger. One of the things that we didn't like is that our initial version of the guild log, which we do have, we noticed that the entire guild log was being pushed out by all of the credit transactions of people getting repaired from the bank and other things like that. Yes, you can repair directly from your guild bank up to your allowance. So what we did is we just took all the money transactions and put it on a ledger so you can see for each guild member how much money are they putting in every week, how much money are they taking out every week, and you see both this week and the previous week before. This all works. It's really cool. And there's your guild log of, hey, this is a really not very useful screenshot at all now that I actually see it. That column that says V10 is supposed to have a hyperlink of the item that was actually added or removed from the guild. But that's guild banks. We're still looking at how we're going to move forward, and I want to stress everything I'm about to tell you is post 1.2, and what order it comes in, we're still actually figuring out. But this is sort of what we're looking at on the horizon for guilds. And the first is the ability for you guys to create events inside of a guild calendar,
I will go to
have
that
the
later.
ability to share those events even with non-guild mates, have the ability for CSRs to drop our handy cool events that Daniel wants to keep secrets on those calendars as well. The idea of being able to drop a guild emblem onto your armor. So, this will be the ability for you to choose from some shapes and combine them and choose a color, and then if you choose to display this emblem, which will be a toggle you'll be able to turn on and off, it'll actually display on certain hot spots on your armor. So if you're wearing the bikini, it'll be tastefully placed on the breast, whereas if you've got a cape on the back, it might be planted on the back. So the artist will choose where it will choose to display. And then guild advertising. This is the ability for you guys to actually set up some flags that make it easier for you guys to find the perfect guild, and for you guys as guild leaders and guild masters to advertise your guild inside the game space. Players will be able to go up to open up their guild page and actually say, hey, I want to look for a largest rating guild that is not very hardcore and speaks in, let's just call it family-friendly ways, and hopefully you'll be able to find the guild that's right for you. I'm personally a believer that if you find the right guild inside of any massively multiplayer game, the experience is so much better. I mean, if you find yourself in a bunch of a guild full of elite-speaking twits and you aren't one, then it doesn't matter how awesome the game is, you're going to think it's the worst thing you've ever seen. And on the other hand, if that's the kind of player you are, you want to be with other people like yourself. And so it is really, really important. I mean, one of the things about the role-playing symposium that we had before, the most important thing for a role-playing guild is to find other people who want to role-play about the same amount, right? And, people who actually have the same ideas of what role-playing means. We want to help people find the right guild for them. That's very important to us. And we did a good job of that pre-launch with the guild finding program, and we want to extend that and bring it actually inside the game space with this feature here.
So I'm gonna stop it right there because there were some really funny things. So I'm just gonna go ahead back, so actually here, and see what you guys see. So future of guilds. I'm really sorry. I shouldn't laugh at this, but this is so funny. I actually don't remember these at all, like these future features. None of these are happened in Star Wars The Old Republic. Oh my god, Jesus. So, guild calendar never happened. Never. Guild emblems, that would be nice, but never happened. And guild advertising also never happened. Like, usually advertisement is usually how it goes to the fleet. Like, hey, are you tired of doing that? No. Are you tired of being no guild? Or tired of being, like, kicked out of the guild all the time? Yes, then you should join here. What we offer is all XP, all reputation, guild flagship, etc. You guys know the drill. But it was actually... I know how difficult this was because it was so hard to like find a guild, but yeah, none of these stuffs are happened in the game, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna move on to that. So
people who actually have the same ideas of what role playing means. We want to help people find the right guild for them. That's very important to us, and we did a good job of that pre-launch with the guild finding program, and we want to extend that and bring it actually inside the game space with this feature here.
So yeah, let's just actually move on now.
We're working on this, and it will probably be tied to working on this. We think it might be kind of cool. As soon as we are willing to talk about timing and when, where, and how, we will do so. But this is a long ways off, but it is my pet project right now. So It's worth noting that, we are really, especially for this feature here, we're really devoted to doing this feature right. We want this to be something that is, big and epic and attention-getting when we do it.
So what you're seeing right now is also a future of guilds, but guild Procession is in the works. It's a very large project, not something you will see soon. Now, a lot of people like saying, oh yeah, this is fine, but I don't know what was it. Like, a lot of people suspected, like, if you guys know what he meant, let me know in the comments, because I don't know. Maybe like a certain amount of time run or achievement run or something like that. But yeah, guild capital ships design. Yeah, that actually happened. So we have guild ships right now, kind of capital ships. So that happened at least.
And I'm just going to put these up, but I'm not going to read them aloud because so far they've been pretty silly. So does anybody have any questions or ideas they want to talk about for guild stuff?
Is anybody interested in talking about guilds?
Let's go. Wow, a lot of people actually wanted to talk about guild. Let's just...
Oh, it's me. Hello. Alan from the Moss Isley radio community. One of the things I'd like to see, is there any plans for possibly having a guild mail system, I said that like I'm from Texas, mail system, implemented to where we can communicate maybe on a weekly basis, almost a newsletter or update within the guild, that we can communicate with our guild, and kind of, it would kind of, I guess, work in conjunction with the calendar, that we could plan events and things like that, but just a way that we could interact from a guild leader perspective to a larger guild, without having to go through copy and paste 400 mail messages.
We've talked about it. We're hoping that the guild calendar and I'm also looking at improving some of the MOTD functionality as well, will help to obviate some of that. I mean, part of the problem with features that involve freeform text is that there's a lot of storage on the back end that can get really, really abusive and ugly if everybody decides to use it 500 times. And once you start talking about, hey, I have the ability to spam 500 people at a whim, we naturally have to put some pretty strict constraints on how often it can be used, on who could send it, et cetera, et cetera. But it is definitely something that we've talked about. No ETA. Well, you have to be able to track who's read it and who hasn't read it and who's deleted it. And not doing it as a single individual is a change to the mail paradigm, effectively. That's why having a calendar where everybody can read it and you don't have to track all that stuff might be a better way to handle it.
What kind of guild interface improvements do you have planned? Like, for example, you can't if you have a lot of people on a list, you can't even mouse scroll down. You have to click, and you can't invite people to a group directly from the guild interface. Do you have what kind of improvements do you have planned for?
Well, we're going to fix both of those. I'm not sure when, but I'm pretty sure. I think both of those are in 1.2, but I'm not sure. We're going to go on a more global path of cleaning up the guild GUI. And especially beefing up the larger guild GUI in general in a patch after 1.2. It's definitely a place where we want to focus on.
So yeah, unfortunately, some of the things that they are questioning, they're pretty much like saying, well, talked about it or no ETA about it. Like, that is so unfortunate. I wish we could just hear more, but never happened. Let's just move on to some of the questions.
Hey, Damien. Somebody came up in between and asked me, they said they really would like to be able to look at their guild lists and then check people's crafting skills from them.
That is part of the aforementioned refactor that is happening sometime after 1.2. But it's definitely actually near the top of the list because we see it as a cheap win that we can probably get out to you guys pretty fast.
Never happened that one as well, unfortunately.
Is there a plan for a taxation system?
Well, what was that?
So that's in the category of well, duh moments, very similar to the well, duh, we don't have a ready check moment that I had earlier today, where I just realized that we didn't have that like a couple weeks ago, and I'm trying to figure out a design for it now. We need to get one of those in now that we have a guild bank. No ETA.
Yes. I think that's never happened as well.
I'm Pelel from AIE. We've got a lot of people that we invite to our guild. We're pretty huge. And you guys had, for pre-launch, the approval for getting new members in. Are you guys going to bring that back? Because, you know, it's very convenient to approve these people that aren't online at the time. And then when they log in, boom, they're already in the guild. They don't have to look for an officer per se, you know, something like that.
Maybe. We've talked about it. Personally, you know, just from a marketing perspective, I like anything that makes our game viral, and that, you know, hey, buy the game and instantly you're going to like have an instant community of people who want to give you stuff. It's pretty viral. But yeah, it's not on our immediate list of initiatives.
Well, we had a beginning though. You know, is it that difficult to bring back? I guess
We have
Right.
we have a lot of discussions that are like, but that's so easy, and it's
I'm
usually
not presuming to say that it's easy.
no. What I'm saying is not that you're misunderstanding the concept. It's that we have like 300 things that are also easy and small before it.
Right.
So we're all into the idea. It just becomes prioritization.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about, for example, that guild team that I'm talking about, that I'm sitting here and just, you know, taxing their future by saying, hey, we're going to do all of these things that you guys are telling me about. You know, if you imagine they just have this river of things that they're going to do in the order that they're going to do them. If you front load the easy stuff, then the big stuff like the guild capital ships get pushed out, right? And so we're constantly playing this prioritization game of doing stuff, and we try to mix enough of the easy stuff with enough of the big stuff so that you guys constantly see progress. A lot of the things that are annoying about the game get taken care of, but at a certain point you have to say, yeah, that's going to be an immediate good. We should bang that out right now. And on the flip side, yeah, we really, really, really like to get capital ships in at some point, right? Yeah, it's that constant balancing act that is, well, my immediate boss is, look, his hair's falling out. It's gone. So.
All right, thank you.
All right, yes, you mentioned allowances by rank and guild. If guild repairs are turned on, does that take away from the allowance for the member?
Right now it does, I believe.
Okay. That's my question.
That was dumb.
I believe you can also respec from the bank as well. So.
I don't think so.
Who's next?
That never happened.
Ed Malefactum here. I got a quick question. We saw the guild log for the guild banks. That was really cool. Is there any plan to implement a guild log so we can see G invites, kicks, inactivity, things like that?
There is a plan, yes. I mean, we want to do that, and we also want to make it both visible inside the game and outside the game. Not sure when that's going to happen off the top of my head. But.
And what about the concept of guild rivals, where you could queue 8-man war zones versus your rivals, or if you see them in the open world, you automatically flag over to PvP and can attack each other?
I wrote down adversaries earlier when you guys mentioned it.
For anyone who didn't understand that muttering, he said earlier we talked about in the PvP thing, and yeah, that's coming when we've got teams.
Hey, could we get the ability to actually invite people from the guild list? That would just be kind of nice.
Yeah, I think that is already done for 1.2, and if not, then I'm sure that somebody's frantically coding it in right now as we speak, because they probably are watching the live stream. So.
Hi. One of the things that I do a lot of is get groups together for other people. I'm over here. See?
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I'm short, right?
I don't know if there are two spotlights directly in our
Right.
face, and it's actually kind of disorienting after a while.
So one of the things that I do a lot of is they come to me and they'll say, I've got a DPS, I've got a healer, I've got a tank, but I need one more DPS. Is anybody out there? Guild chat doesn't necessarily get it. They may say it, you know, looking for a DPS, but everybody thinks somebody else has already responded. So if I could get something in the guild window, some symbol that says this person is already grouped, so that I can see who to ask because they're not in a group, even if they're not necessarily in a guild group, would be good. Also, if the group is already full, if that symbol would change colors so that I could tell.
That's an interesting idea.
Thank you.
If I had my pad, I would write it down.
You want me to send it to you?
Sure.
I think this is being recorded for posterity.
So that was it for the guilds. I think there was like much more stuffs, but no, pretty much like that's it now for the guild. Now, obviously, and the rest in the phrase, I will go to that in the future. But to be perfectly honest, at the end, the question was totally BS. Like that made, for me, prospectively, just made no sense. If you're seeing a guy doing Eternity Vault, probably he's not gonna be there alone, and probably he's not gonna be there with Freeman. So that made no sense. Obviously, if he's on, for example, Alderaan, you can ask him, like, what's up, what you doing? Pretty much that's that. Like, I don't really get to that question, to my point or anything. But guys, that was it for this little reaction video about the Guild Summit. As usual, smash the thumbs up button, and the next video should be up, like, not after this, but just go ahead and, like, I'm gonna go ahead and get like another 10 to 15 likes, and if we smash it, then obviously I'm gonna do another one just like this. Like I'm gonna stick with this like kind of setup. I know like backgrounds and everything are different, but I'm gonna stick to this, and I'm gonna do more of this in the future. But you know, as you're seeing now, these are long videos, so I'm not gonna do it like an hour video just reacting to all the guild summits. Like that will be just crazy. So yeah, that was it for this video. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, smash the thumbs up. If you wanted to support me or anything like Patreon and stuff like that, check out the description down below, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.